I tell you, assumption creates reality. The world you see is not separate from you. It is the reflection of your inner state. You do not experience what you want, you experience what you are. And what you are is determined by what you assume to be true. If you believe yourself to be struggling, the world will show you struggle. If you see yourself as abundant, abundance must appear. This is not philosophy or wishful thinking. It is law. You have been taught that life happens to you, that you must work hard, search, and struggle to earn your place. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. You do not need to search. You need to assume. The state you occupy inwardly dictates what must unfold outwardly. Every condition, every opportunity, every so-called coincidence is merely the outpicturing of your inner assumptions. When you grasp this truth, you will stop chasing and start creating. Consider the one who says, I need a job. What does he assume? He assumes he is without. He assumes that opportunities are scarce, that he must look, apply, and wait for someone else to decide his fate. This assumption shapes his world. He searches, but finds rejection. He applies, but hears silence. Not because the opportunities do not exist, but because he has assumed himself separate from them. His assumption of lack manifests lack. Now consider another, one who does not say, I need, but instead declares, I am already in possession. He assumes the feeling of already having what he desires. He does not wonder, where will my next opportunity come from? Because he knows it is already done. He carries himself with the confidence of one who has, not one who seeks. He moves, speaks, and thinks from the end, and because his assumption is fixed, the world must confirm it. The right people appear, the right opportunities unfold, doors open without effort, not because he worked harder, but because he assumed correctly. You may ask, but how can I assume something that is not yet visible? This question is the very thing keeping you bound. To demand evidence before belief is to deny the law. The outer world does not create, it reflects. The evidence will come, but only after you have assumed the reality within. You must persist in the assumption, even when the senses show the opposite, even when the bank account is empty, even when no offers have come. You must hold the inner conviction that it is already yours. The mind will resist at first. It will say, this is not true. I am still without. I have no job, no money, no opportunity. But do not be deceived. The outer world is simply the reflection of your past assumptions. The moment you change within, the world begins shifting, unseen at first, but certain. Just as a seed does not sprout the instant it is planted, your assumption must take root before it is seen. But know this, if you persist, the world must conform. It is not effort that brings results. It is faith in the unseen. Those who struggle are those who seek proof before they believe. Those who succeed are those who believe first, knowing the proof must follow. There is no exception to this law. Look back at your life and see. Every success, every failure, every delay was only the outcome of what you assumed to be true at the time. The world has never denied you. It has only reflected you. So, what do you assume now? Do you still believe you must search, that you must struggle, that opportunities are scarce? If so, the world will show you evidence to confirm it. Or do you dare to assume that all is already yours? That the perfect opportunity is already seeking you? That wealth is already flowing? Change the assumption and you change the experience. Walk today as though it were already done. Let go of the need to find and instead become. The moment you assume yourself to be the one who has, the world will move in ways unseen to make it true. It has no choice. This is law. You do not seek, you declare. You do not hope, you assume. The very act of seeking affirms to the world that you do not have. And what you affirm, you perpetuate. To say, I need a job, is to tell the world that you are without. It is to impress upon your mind the state of lack, and by law the world will mirror it back to you. There is no exception to this principle. The world does not give to those who chase. It gives to those who claim. You have been taught to look outside yourself for opportunities, to search endlessly for something that will grant you security. But the truth is, opportunity is not found, it is assumed. It is not something separate from you, something waiting to be discovered. It is already yours, waiting only for your recognition. The moment you assume the feeling of already having, the world must arrange itself to make it so. Look around at those who struggle, those who apply for countless jobs, those who work tirelessly but receive little in return. They do not struggle because they lack skill or opportunity. They struggle because they have assumed the identity of one who struggles. They have accepted the idea that success is hard, that they must prove themselves, that they must wait for someone else to give them what is already theirs by right of consciousness. And so life fulfills their assumption perfectly. Then observe those who seem to attract opportunities effortlessly. They do not look, they do not beg, they do not wait. They move with the quiet confidence of one who already possesses. They assume that they are wanted, that they are valuable, that the right opportunities seek them rather than the other way around. And because their assumption is firm, the world bends to confirm it. If you still believe you must chase after a job, you will always be in pursuit, never in possession. The act of seeking affirms separation, and as long as you see yourself as separate from what you desire, it must remain out of reach. But the moment you assume that you already have, the search ends. There is no longer a need to look, to worry, to question. You have claimed it in consciousness, and by law it must manifest. You may wonder, how can I assume something that is not yet seen? This is the great misunderstanding. The world does not create your belief. Your belief creates the world. The senses will deceive you if you rely on them. They will tell you that you are still without, that you must search, that nothing has changed. But the unseen reality is so the world responds in kind. The right people, the right connections, the right circumstances unfold with ease, not because he is lucky, but because he has become the one who has rather than the one who seeks. You must let go of the need to look, the need to chase, the need to search. Instead, step into the identity of one who already possesses. Close your eyes and see yourself already in the position you desire. Feel the satisfaction, the relief, the certainty. Walk, speak, and think as though it were already true. And as surely as the tide follows the moon, the world will conform to your assumption. There is no force outside of you deciding whether you succeed or fail. There is only your own consciousness shaping reality according to what you believe. Assume yourself to be in lack, and the world will prove you right. Assume yourself to be in abundance, and the world must bow to your assumption. Do not seek, declare. Do not chase, claim. And when you do, you will find that what you once pursued now pursues you. Imagination is the key. What you hold in mind becomes what you hold in hand. The world you see is nothing more than the crystallized form of the thoughts and feelings you have entertained most deeply. It is not external conditions that shape your life, but the images you persist in assuming as real. The one who understands this no longer looks outside for change, but turns within, for within is the only true reality. You have been taught to rely on effort, to struggle, to look outward for solutions. But I tell you, imagination is the only force that creates. You need not wait for circumstances to change, for they are only reflections. Change the cause and the effect must follow. The cause is within you, your assumption, your vision, your state of being. The outer world has no power of its own. It merely echoes what you have already accepted as true within. You must ask yourself, what am I imagining? Every moment of the day, you are holding pictures in your mind. You may believe you are thinking idle thoughts, but there are no idle thoughts. Every thought is a seed, and what you persist in imagining will grow into form. If you allow yourself to dwell on lack, on rejection, on failure, you will bring these very things into your experience, not because the world is against you, but because it is obedient to your assumptions. Now consider the one who seeks a job. He looks at the world and sees competition, rejection, difficulty. His mind is filled with images of struggle, applications ignored, interviews failing, doors closing. And because he persistently holds these thoughts, they take shape in the world around him. He does not realize that it is not the world rejecting him. It is his own imagination producing these results. The law is exact. The world will always show him proof of what he first accepted within himself. Now consider another. He does not look at circumstances, but creates them within. When he closes his eyes, he does not see rejection. He sees himself in the perfect role, thriving, fulfilled, already in possession of what he desires. He does not wait for evidence. He provides the evidence within his own consciousness. And because he holds this assumption unwaveringly, the world has no choice but to conform. The right opportunity appears, seemingly by chance. The right people cross his path. He does not struggle, for he does not need to. He has already received in imagination, and therefore must receive in form. This is the great secret. The world does not create your beliefs. Your beliefs create the world. You do not see reality as it is. You see reality as you assume it to be. If you believe success is difficult, it will be. If you assume opportunities are rare, they will be. But if you dare to assume that all is already yours, that life is unfolding in your favor, that doors are opening even now, then this is the reality that must be revealed. You may ask, but how can I imagine something that is not yet real? This question is the very barrier that keeps you bound to the old state. The senses will always show you the past, for the outer world is only a delayed reflection of past thoughts. But imagination is outside of time. The moment you see yourself in possession of your desire within, it is already a fact. The world will take the shape of that assumption, if only you persist in it. Look at those who move through life with ease, who always seem to attract the right circumstances. They do not carry doubt. They do not worry. They do not ask how. They assume. They feel themselves to be the one who already has, and so the world bends to confirm it. What they possess first existed in their imagination, and because they accepted it as real, it became real. There was no struggle, only the natural outpicturing of an inner state. You must dare to use this power for yourself. Close your eyes and see the life you wish to live, not as something distant, not as something hoped for, but as something already true. Feel it as though it were real now. Walk in that state, speak from that state, act as though nothing else were possible. And as surely as the dawn follows the night, the world will yield to your assumption. You do not need to search. You do not need to fight. You only need to imagine, assume, and persist. The rest will take care of itself. You are already employed. You are already in possession of all that you seek. But you will never experience it until you assume it to be true. The world is not separate from you. It is a mirror, reflecting faithfully the state you occupy within. If you believe yourself to be without, you will see lack everywhere. If you assume yourself to be in abundance, the world will confirm it. This is not a question of effort, nor is it a matter of chance. It is law. The one who seeks a job assumes he is unemployed. He may not say it outright, but in his heart he feels it. He wakes up each morning and reinforces the idea, I need a job. I am waiting for an opportunity. I must find work. And so, the world being nothing more than a reflection of his inner state, presents him with more waiting, more searching, more need. He is locked in a cycle, believing that circumstances must change before he can feel secure. But it is the feeling that must change first, for the world has no choice but to follow. Now, consider the one who knows he is already in possession of his perfect position. He does not wake up thinking of what is missing. He rises with gratitude, with certainty, with the quiet confidence of one who is already fulfilled. He does not look outward for proof. He carries the proof within. He walks as though the world were already confirming his assumption, because he understands the law. Assumption precedes reality. You may wonder how one can assume something that does not yet exist in the world of the senses. But I tell you, the world of the senses is nothing more than the shadow cast by imagination. What you accept as true inwardly must be expressed outwardly. The error is in believing that reality must first change before you can change your assumption, but it is always the assumption that comes first. If you persist in the feeling of already being employed, already thriving, already possessing, then the world will have no choice but to show you evidence of that assumption. Do not concern yourself with the how or the when. The mind wants to control the process, to see the steps in advance, to measure progress. But this is the very thing that delays the manifestation. The moment you interfere with how it will happen, you place yourself in a state of doubt. And doubt is nothing more than belief in what you do not want. Let go of the need to know how. Trust in the unseen. Assume the feeling and allow the world to arrange itself accordingly. The job you seek is not something you must find. It is something you must become. The moment you assume the identity of one who already has, the world will move to confirm it. You will receive a call, an offer, an opportunity that seems to come out of nowhere, but it did not come from nowhere. It came from within you. It was always there, waiting for you to recognize it, waiting for you to claim it. The one who walks in certainty is never desperate. He does not beg, he does not chase, he does not wonder if he is worthy. He knows that all he desires is already his. And because he knows it, the world does not give to those who need, it gives to those who have. And to have is simply to assume that you do. Test this for yourself. Close your eyes and see yourself already in the role you desire. Feel the weight of certainty. Hear the words of confirmation. Walk as though it were already done. If you persist in this assumption, the outer world must conform. It is law. The job you seek is not outside of you. It is within, waiting for you to claim it. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. The world is only a mirror, reflecting the state you occupy within. If you believe yourself to be struggling, then struggle will meet you at every turn. If you assume that opportunities are scarce, then scarcity will be all you see. But the moment you shift within, the moment you assume that you already have all that you desire, the world must rearrange itself to reflect that assumption. This is not speculation, this is law. You may believe that you are looking for a job, that you are searching for an opportunity, but in truth, you are only searching for yourself. The world does not give to those who chase, it gives to those who embody. If you see yourself as one who lacks, then lack is what you will continue to experience. But if you assume the identity of one who is already in possession of what they desire, then everything must shift to confirm it. Consider the one who says, "I need a job." What does he truly declare? He affirms that he is unemployed, that he is lacking, that he is waiting for something outside of himself to change his circumstances. Every thought, every feeling, every action reinforces this assumption. He applies with hesitation, fearing rejection before he even begins. He checks his phone, waiting anxiously for a response, all the while assuming that none will come. He looks at the world and sees competition, limitation, and struggle, not because these things are inherently real, but because they are real to him. His assumption has created them. Now consider another. He does not say, "I need," for he understands that to need is to affirm absence. Instead, he assumes, "I already have." He walks with certainty, not as one who seeks, but as one who has found. He does not worry about applications, about interviews, about the opinions of others. He knows that the perfect position is already his, and so he acts accordingly. He moves through life with the quiet confidence of one who possesses, and because his assumption is fixed, the world moves to confirm it. He receives a call. A conversation leads to an unexpected offer. A door opens where none seem to exist. And yet this is no accident. It is simply the law in motion. You may ask, but how can I assume something that is not yet visible? This is the era of the senses. The outer world is always a delayed reflection of the inner world. What you see today is nothing more than the result of past assumptions. If you continue to look at appearances, you will remain bound by them. But if you dare to assume beyond what the senses tell you, if you dare to claim your desire is already fulfilled, then the outer world must eventually conform. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to struggle. The only effort required is within. The moment you shift your assumption, the world begins to shift in response. It may not be immediate, just as a seed does not sprout the instant it is planted. But if you persist, if you refuse to waver, if you remain faithful to your assumption, then the result is inevitable. Look at those who seem to move effortlessly through life, who always find themselves in the right place at the right time. They are not lucky. They are simply living from the end. They do not seek, they assume. They do not question, they know. And because they know, the world reflects their certainty. Now, look at your own life. What have you been assuming? Have you been assuming struggle, lack, delay? Have you been affirming that success is difficult, that opportunities are rare, that you must work tirelessly to be chosen? If so, then this is the world you will continue to see, not because it is reality, but because it is your reality, the reality you have unconsciously created. But at any moment, you can assume differently. At any moment, you can declare, I already have all that I desire. And if you persist in this assumption, the world will bend to make it so. Let go of the need to search. Let go of the need to prove yourself. Assume that you are already in possession of everything you seek and watch as the world moves to confirm it. You are always placing yourself in a state, whether you are aware of it or not. The world you experience is not separate from you, but is an exact reflection of the state in which you dwell. If you persist in a state of lack, then lack will be all you see. If you dwell in a state of limitation, then every door will appear closed. But the moment you assume a new state, a state of fulfillment, a state of already having what you desire, the entire world must rearrange itself to reflect that shift. Most people do not realize this truth. They look at the world and believe it to be fixed, believe it to be external, something they must battle against or struggle to change. They say, I need a job. And in doing so, they assume the state of someone in need. They believe that they must send out more applications, meet more people, work harder, and somehow force the world to grant them what they desire. But they are mistaken. The outer world does not respond to effort. It responds to assumption. Imagine a man who walks through life believing that opportunities are scarce. He does not say this aloud, but his every thought, his every action is shaped by this belief. He applies for jobs hesitantly, already expecting rejection. He walks into interviews with doubt, fearing he is not good enough. He checks his email anxiously, hoping for good news, but preparing for disappointment. And because he assumes failure, failure is exactly what he experiences. He believes the world is against him, but in truth, the world is only reflecting his own state. Now, imagine another man who assumes a different state. He does not say, I need a job, because to declare need is to affirm lack. Instead, he assumes, I am already employed in the perfect position. He does not beg for opportunities, he expects them. He does not worry about competition, for he knows that the right job is already his. He does not wait anxiously, for he is secure in the knowledge that his assumption must harden into fact. He walks into an interview, not as one seeking approval, but as one offering value. And because he carries himself as one who already has, the world moves to confirm his assumption. He receives an unexpected call. A chance meeting leads to a perfect opportunity. A door opens exactly when he needs it. This is not luck. It is law. The world must reflect the state you occupy. If you wish to change your circumstances, you must first change your state. You cannot remain in a state of lack and expect to receive abundance. You cannot dwell in a state of uncertainty and expect to find security. The state you dwell in is the cause, and the world you see is only the effect. You do not have to force this. You do not have to struggle to change your state. You only have to assume. Close your eyes and see yourself already in possession of what you desire. Feel it as real. Walk in that feeling throughout your day. Let it shape your actions, your thoughts, your words. And as surely as night follows day, the world will mirror your assumption. Look at those who succeed effortlessly, who seem to move through life with ease. They are not lucky. They have simply mastered the art of assumption. They do not hope, they know. They do not chase, they attract. And because they live in the state of already having, their world reflects abundance, opportunity, and success. What state are you dwelling in now? What assumptions are you holding? If your world is showing you struggle, then you have been assuming struggle. If you see delays, then you have been assuming delays. But at any moment you can step into a new state. You can declare, I already have all that I desire. And if you persist in that assumption, the world will have no choice but to confirm it. Do not look to the world to change first. Change your state, and the world will follow. Assume the feeling of already having, and watch as your reality reshapes itself to match your inner conviction. The truth has always been simple. You do not chase, you assume. The world is not something you must fight against, nor is it something that decides your fate apart from you. It is only the mirror reflecting your deepest assumptions. If you assume struggle, you will find struggle. If you assume ease, you will experience ease. You were never meant to look outward for security, for opportunities, or for approval. The moment you believe that something outside of you must change before you can feel fulfilled, you have given away your power. But the moment you turn within and accept that all you desire is already yours, the world must confirm it. It does not matter what the senses tell you now. The outer world is only the past made visible. If you do not like what you see, do not try to fight it. Simply assume a new state. Claim yourself to be already in possession of what you seek. Feel the reality of it. Walk as though it were already done. Persist in this assumption, and the world will shape itself accordingly. Let go of doubt. Let go of worry. Let go of the need to struggle. You were never meant to chase anything. You were meant to become, to assume, to feel, and to allow reality to follow. The law is exact. The world will always reflect who you believe yourself to be. So assume the highest, assume the best, and watch as life unfolds in perfect harmony with your inner conviction.